其实这个赛季的 LPL， 我觉得各队伍之间的状态起伏，相对于原来的赛季是有更多的改变。我觉得是因为我们赛区的对抗性更强了。对于我们来说，这个赛季应该比之前的每个赛季都要强。
这个赛季就是一个一超多强吧。IG 当然是现在的一个超级强队，他们个人能力包括打法丰富，状态很稳定，也是赛季开始没有想到的。
这个赛季新人，我觉得你不好去定义他们很难再成为下一个 UZI 或者下一个厂长。我觉得这对他们来说也是不公平，因为他们就会成为他们自己。
这赛季这些新人，包括新的队伍，像苏宁啊、FunPlus、京东，也是让我们看到可能未来一些希望吧。
现在的 LPL 当中，选手相对于之前更敢去拿一些英雄，他们就是为了队伍赢，可以拿在我们 LPL 中没有出场过的英雄。
我的一个期待就是看谁能挑战 IG， 期待季后赛谁能威胁到 IG 的地位。
如果说下一个超级强队出现的时候，就是 LPL 整体的水平再上台阶的时候，我特别期待那一刻的出现。
It has taken us 10 weeks, but we finally arrived at the final day of the group stages of the LPL. All you other regions, yeah, you're in your playoffs, you're in your grand finals. We're just getting started. We haven't even reached our playoff stage yet. And in typical LPL fashion, although over 310 games have already been played, the final match will decide the final seeding, the final positions in playoffs. Welcome everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Matthew Stewart, your host today. Joining me is going to be Indiana Frosker in black. We're about to kickstart the final day of group stages. Anything you want to say, Indiana, before we kick this off?
It's been 310 games. We have lapped EU and NA, I believe, 3 times for the amount of that we've just played this regular split. And like you said, we are literally just getting started.
So let's actually take a look and see how the LPL stands at the moment, because we've already locked in who are the teams that we're going into playoffs. There's just one final spot that can be changed between Snake and BLG.
And that's what it comes down to. BLG versus EDG, our very last game tonight. Otherwise, everything is locked. You heard it in the intro. Invictus Gaming, the one true super team above them all, and can any of these playoff contenders shake them?
We'll dive into that later tonight, but as Frostkern said, BLG will be playing EDG as the last game today. So let's take a look at the other 2 matches that we have, because it's a Sunday and it's a regular conference matchup. We have 3 games being played.
And that means buckle up, everyone, because 2 of these games don't have any meaning on the standings, which means we're about to have some very bloody and some very fun games. The LPL, they never take a break. It's always for pride and it's always for glory.
We could see some roster swaps. We could see some players being moved around getting into these matches, but they're going to be incredibly fun. As we mentioned earlier, one final match will determine the seeding between BLG as well as Snake, but we can take a look and see what the playoffs would look like if it was locked in right now.
And this is the thing, that BLG versus Snake, that is a huge difference in terms of the playoff bracket. Would you rather be on the side of death between RNG and Invictus Gaming, or would you rather look at that top side of the bracket, JD making a scrape in there?
And although you can be on that side of death with WE, RNG as well as Invictus Gaming, making a win here for BLG would put them one step closer towards the semi-finals. They would get that extra bye moving into the next round if they can pick up a victory later on today. But before we go into all that, I know that you have some thoughts about the LPL before we get into our first match. You've got some awards to give out. You've got your All-Pro team lined up. What do you want to touch on?
Yeah, so I want to start with my All-Pro team. Now, the reality is like you said, the LPL, we've played over 300 games. We've had over 5 pentakills go down.
What is this?
This is my All-Pro team, Fish.
Frostkern, that's... No.
You know what the best part is that it's not all the same photoshopped photo. I have so many pictures of Clearlove that I was able to diversify his portfolio just like he's diversified his in the LPL. We've got World Elite, we've got Lee Sin, we've got Clearlove 7, Clearlove 8.
So Clearlove is playing in both solo lanes. You've got Clearlove 7 in the jungle. You've got Clearlove Lil as the AD carry and Clearlove 8 as the support. What's going on here?
What's going on is Clearlove is starting today. That is what's going on. He is going to be starting in the BLG versus EDG series, so buckle up.
Look, there's an EDG fan sign back in our green room. Someone please bring it up to desk. I think Frostkern needs one at the moment.
I was wearing the jersey, but the producer's like, you have to take it off. It doesn't match your eyes.
Well, Clearlove will be starting the final match for EDG in the regular group stages, but this is Frostkern's actual pro team. No Clearlove to be seen though. What's going on here? You put him in all 5 roles and then you just take him off completely.
That's what happens when you don't start, but he's got his opportunity today. It's the Shy, SOFM, CA, Uzi, and Mako. First and foremost, I want to grab Uzi. I have probably been his harshest critic over the years. He is undisputably the best ADC, head and shoulders over any other competition in the LPL this split.
Certainly has been. C as well has had a standout performance in the mid lane, probably going up against Rookie for that spot as the best mid laner.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, Rookie's got more tools to work with. Shea is hard carrying Team W right now. They scraped into playoffs pretty much on his play alone. He has stepped up massively, and it's just a shame that we don't get to see that Condi-Shea duo.
On top of that, we see a lot of support stepping up in the LPL, especially with the likes of Baolan and Kalua, but Mako has been head and shoulders above the rest so far.
And it's the fact that he's piloting a brand new EDG. They took first in their conference, they've got a semi-final bye, and a lot of that is on the shoulders of Mako making those calls.
Yeah, the Shy in the top lane, that's a standout. He's been on the long undefeated streak with Invictus Gaming. SOFM though, he's had a fantastic split, but what do you think about Ning in the jungle going up against SOFM? Because those are probably the two that are the closest in that position.
So I made the decision that I didn't want to have 2 players from the same roster, but that even said, I believe that SOFM doesn't have the same resources that Ning does. Again, he's not working with an all-star roster, and Snake's success, they could possibly finish 2nd in the regular split, is almost entirely dependent on how SOFM does. You cannot say the same for Ning. Like, Rookie can go off, the Shy can go off, JackeyLove can hard carry, which isn't to say that Ning doesn't have higher highs than SOFM. I just think SOFM means more for his team. He's more of the MVP for Snake than Ning is the MVP for IG.
Well, that's Frostgurn's all-pro team, though. They're not all Clearlove 7, but we'll see him play later on tonight. That's going to be fantastic to watch. But we also have some awards to give out here, Frostgurn, and they're called the Froskies. What the heck is this?
These are my awards, which means, Raz, you stay over there on that caster table because I am going to talk right now. Most underrated, Fury and Yoon. This bot lane is so deadly. They take down JackeyLove, Uzi, iBoy. They've contested all of them, and no one gives them a second thought. They didn't make playoffs, but they did make my Froskies.
On top of that, you have Most Improved. Road has had a standout performance so far for BLG, you know, similar to the performance he had when Iman made that miracle run to Worlds. But your best debut is going to be Yakao. Toothpaste in the mid lane. Why is that?
Because he's effectively been the best rookie of the split. Yagao came in, and I remember watching him backstage and saying, holy shit, this guy is the new Xiaohu. His diversity and champion pool, the fact that he can play the carry, the fact that he can play the tank, the fact that he demands team permaban Azir from him, and then he grabs the Galleone Styles anyway. Sir, hello? Please?
Wait a second.
Hey, what, Raz?
You telling me to sit
He's
down?
literally interrupting my B-roll right now.
Hold up.
Raz?
Yakao? Really? Have you seen his stats? They're garbage. They're garbage. Knight. 100% Knight. I'm talking about his kill share, or at least his damage share. Yeah. What are you
Raz,
pointing out?
you're
I'm
about
here.
to cast the match.
You realize that you're supposed to be over there.
You're going live in about 2 minutes,
No.
Raz.
Just like where I'm currently sitting, my temper is a little bit short. Just a tiny bit. Knight has the highest solo kills right now.
Kidding me?
And he just got a little bit better because he just solo killed your gal off the goddamn graphic, alright?
Remind me, Raz, who made playoffs? Was it Knight or was it Yagao?
Just like the damage share, he is the team, which is unfortunate because Yagao has the team
He has
to carry him
B-roll?
with him. Yes, he does.
What's going on?
Because we have to see his echo play.
This is mutiny.
He's made other mid laners just envy his echo play. So he comes out, he solo carries, he does well in his own lane, he created that 1-3-1, he invented it going in the side lanes, solo killing, SMLZ, that's right, take a look at this. You don't get to exist when Knight is on the field.
I feel like that was an MVP carry from the minions, though.
And just look at this. This is one of the many solo kills he has, and guess who he's doing it up against? Rookie. Guess what Rookie said in that same goddamn game? He said that Rookie, or at least that Knight, reminds him of himself back in the day.
Okay, I will give you this, Raz. Knight has been quite impressive. He does have a front runner between Yagao and Knight for
You're
best
damn right.
rookie of the split. But they weren't the Razzles, they were the Froskies.
You give me some time on that
Look,
graphic and we can
I've
change
seen
that.
the Civil War
No,
broadcast.
no,
I've seen what happens when Dash gets his desk hijacked. Cut his mic.
What?
Cut his mic.
No.
Get him
Hey.
out of here. There's
Hey.
a game going on in
No,
just
you
a bit.
cannot.
We need to get Raz off this desk.
This is my desk.
No, it's not your desk.
Dad,
Get up.
please.
There we go. Get him off. Get him
This
off.
is my...
Get off the desk,
Get him
Raz!
out of here. He's gone. He's got to get back over there. The cast is about to begin. So let's get into that first match of today, Frostco, because Team WE is about to go head-to-head against OMG. What the heck is going on?
I have no idea. Probably just as much crazy as what's going to happen in the next match. But yeah, serious topic. Some real analysis is going to happen. Vici versus Team WE. Who shall win? Nothing happens on the playoffs if anyone loses.
No, it doesn't.
Wow, that's my serious analysis.
Team WE is taking on OMG though. Not VG.
Oh.
They go up against OMG in their arena in
To be
Chengdu.
fair, I think you miscued me and said VG. So I'm going to blame that one on you and not on me because I'm never wrong.
Clip it, because I am always right as well. That's going to be the first match of today. That's going to be played from the Chengdu arena, which is why we don't have the crowd here just yet. But in the second and third match today, they'll be start to pack in and get into that second game.
And the reality is that OMG are on a uptick because they've been recently winning their games. They're looking a lot better, and Team WE are on a downtick. And why this match actually does matter is Team WE want to find that momentum before they head into playoffs. If they lose here, that feels real bad coming off of a double loss streak into your playoff against RNG.
On top of that, the finals for the LPL we've played at the OMG arena, and OMG do not have a chance to make it into that final spot because they did not make playoffs. So this is their last chance to give a show to their fans in their home arena and try and take down Team WE. Looking at the lineups though, Team WE started with 957 as well as Magic, Sia, Mystic, and Celestial.
And again, Kandi and Ben, they are on the bench. It is all about Magic and Celestial, but more importantly, it's all about Xie. He made my all-pro team. He is the second best mid laner in the league.
Up against Siyoung, Jieko, Icon, Chelly, as well as 5 for OMG.
And Jieko and 5 have returned to the roster. We had a bit of roster swaps going on for OMG, but this seems to be their solid lineup that they're slowly climbing back into relevance for the LPL.
They're trying to do what they can, they're trying to work with what they have, and it's the same for Team WE. They've swapped their roster quite a bit. No more Kondi, we haven't seen him around. No more Ben, we haven't seen him either. They're sticking with Magic as well as Celestial, and they're trying to mesh with these two new players.
And the thing is that if you cover up the nameplates, Team WE are still playing the old 2017 style. Not to say that Magic looks like Kondi in the jungle, but when he's playing Jarvan and he's hitting the Cataclysms and the Galio's coming on top of it, and here comes the big Gnar for the scoop, it looks exactly the same as Worlds 2017.
So remember that this match does not impact playoff standings at all. However, in typical LPL fashion, normally these games are going to be bloody and incredibly exciting. Let's send it over to our casting desk now to take away that first match, where Raz is going to be casting with Dom.
I'm walking over there.
Get over there.
They think they can cut my mic and that I can still work this job. Just take it away, man. Take it away. Take it away. Let's go. Let's go.
W versus OMG. That's I don't even want to get into this anymore.
Yeah. I mean, we're fine. We're cool. It's just them. That's all I care about.
Look, we can recover.
We're fine.
We're gonna show some class, and we're gonna recover here. Yeah. I'm Dom. This is Raz. This is our desk. It's WEOMG. Azir, Zion, banned away from OMG, and an Olaf as well. Tahm Kench Sejuani. And as we just heard from Fish, this game doesn't actually affect the standings at all. WE are locked in 4th. This is the last time we'll see OMG in their Chengdu arena. And while finals will be played in Chengdu, it will not be in this specific venue. So if OMG go, it's as visitors.
Yeah, and you know what? Just like what they tried to do to me, it's a pride match. You can't take away the pride from OMG. So 5, he took, or at least he had influence in the bans. You could tell because Tahm Kench got banned. So I want to see if he can pick up a thresh for himself and try and style in the bottom side of the map. I need to see this coming out of Chelly in 5. I don't want to hear it,
That's the sound of me hopping up and down in my seat because Mystic has first picked blind a Kai'Sa.
Yes, he did.
Oh, baby.
He legitimately first picked Kai'Sa.
Actually, yes. That's what the word was. Swain, though, will be passed over. See, I love Kai'Sa, and she's great, but you can't just blind pick her, Mystic.
Remember, it's 0.5, so she isn't just broken because of the extra range and numbers that she got. So this is a poor laning phase pick. And honestly, she works quite well with the Tahm Kench as well, just to kind of make her laning phase not broken. You can always protect her in the lane. Tahm Kench got banned out, so I want to see what Celestial will pick up from.
We'll find out what that support is going to be, and it's actually hilarious to see Mystic, of all people, to be the one to now take this Kai'Sa. He was one of the few early adopters of Xayah and actually ended up learning a lot from, I believe it was SLZ. West, yeah. Who taught him the Flash Blade Collar trick in the third place match.
Yeah, that's true. So it's an you can tell it's an experimental game at this point.
Yeah.
So at this point, Mystic is saying, all right, I know I'm going up against RNG in about a week. Let's see if I can pick this champion and go pretty hot on it. And on top of that, I was just questioning what Celestial will pick for himself. It's a joke. Whenever it comes to WE and Braum is open, I expect it to be the pick.
It should be, yeah.
It really should be.
But we don't really know anymore. Because we've got a Cassiopeia, we've got a Rek'Sai. This is a really short-range comp.
Dumb.
Yeah.
They legitimately put support in the second phase. They're not even picking their support early on. If you're OMG, just start machine gunning support bans. Take out that Braum.
But what about 957 Res? Oh, never mind. There's Swain. He's fine. He's
okay.
Either way, it's not going to end well.
Yeah, it's not going to have
and
a good
now
time.
the Alistar. Okay, here come the support bands. OMG, are you listening? Is anybody out there? We're going to find out.
At this point, remember, the Rek'Sai being picked up by WE means that they're going to be looking towards bottom lane skirmishes anyway. So WE's intentions are quite clear that doesn't matter how poor of a laning phase it is, you can push the Kai'Sa in. The problem is that that's going to be a long way back to your own turret. If the Rek'Sai is going to be camping your lane excessively, then guess what? Comes down to a kill game, comes down to a snowball game. WE's trying to play that risky game in game 1.
They certainly are, though they will be playing up against Chelly in the bottom lane. We saw him step up in OMG's series against Snake, where they played a protect the carry composition, and he was this close to popping off and ascending to something greater than what he has previously been. We got to see some sparks of brilliance, but now he's up against a snowball carry, 80 carry, and Mystic of all people.
Well, Chelly's doing quite well for himself, or at least in the last series that he had versus Snake. So the fact that they were able to take down Snake in Chengdu and Chelly able to get an MVP for himself, that showcases, that injects a lot of confidence in him. So, you know what, Chelly? This is your time to shine. And though he doesn't have the Tristana anymore, he can still go towards the Caitlyn.
Yeah, that Caitlyn that he took in the series against Snake, that earned him that MVP performance, who, I might add, has 150 more range than Kai'Sa on the current patch.
Oh, but he's sifting through a lot of nonsense.
My
and
goodness.
This is when I get to talk about hovers. Because
hovers don't mean anything.
It doesn't, but I get to talk about it because this set doesn't mean anything.
Oh, God, of course.
Yes.
Hyper carry versus hyper carry, snowball versus snowball.
And we've had this discussion previously about what champion would do quite well into Kai'Sa. In my opinion, it was going to be the Vayne. Vayne into side lanes, of course. You want to put Sage out of the laning phase. You want to put Vayne on side lanes if you can, just because she's a great duelist. Of course, has that 3-hit proc going up against Kai'Sa. She wants to be in the team fights looking for flanks, so I want to see what kind of outplays we can get early on in this game.
Yeah, and of course, Kai'Sa's proc is 5 hits, Vayne's is 3. Therefore, numerically, it's just better for Vayne. She gets more damage after 3, where Kai'Sa gets it after 5.
And depending on who builds Guinsoo's, that's when you just throw that out, throw the numbers out the window.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That there's the sign. That's the one. The Icon fans in the audience. As Icon, the hitman for OMG, previously one of the best mid laners in the LPL, heck, in LPL history. Single-handedly, he could take down any opponent in the league lately. In 2018, it seems like he's taken a step towards retiring from that hitman position. He's going full John Wick.
Just because the meta hasn't favored him all too well, is the assassin player, but the moment you bring in stopwatch, the moment it's just the control mage meta, he found difficulties in fitting in. That one pick that lasted from the beginning to the end was Ryze that he can go back towards, which he fit quite well with. So getting the Ryze here today means a lot. It's comfortable for him. It's that one pick that you would say, you know what, sure, it's not an assassin pick, but it fits you quite well.
Yes. And of course provides some pretty moderate scaling. You can see the coaches shaking hands almost half-heartedly, like, did we actually just draft this with a Kai'Sa first pick and a Vayne counter?
It feels like they just got out of a 50-minute game. That's pure exhaustion, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's picking bad for game 1 of this series between WE and OMG, the final game in the Chengdu Arena for the LPL Spring 2018 split. And again, this is the last day for the West Conference, the last day for the LPL before playoffs happening Thursday later this week. So this is still an important match for Team WE. They saw their opponent's RNG play yesterday go to nearly 60 minutes.
Yep.
They do not want to have a repeat performance of that.
And just like, of course, RNG's reasoning, WE is going to be coming into this in terms of experimenting, strategies, thinking if the Kai'Sa works out well, because remember, the next, or at least the playoff, will be in patch 0.6, which means that Kai'Sa will be buffed. Big up, so you have to learn Kai'Sa. That's the major #1 point, unless if that one gets banned out. She's going to be the champion to focus on. If Mystic can have a good showing here today, then the coach will be incredibly confident on the pick in a week from now. So, sure, the set doesn't mean much in terms of the regular season, but for WE, it means the world for them, and strategically, and for OMG, pride.
That pride in front of all their fans in their brand new arena. For the first time in 2018, it's the home crowd cheering OMG on. and now trying to take on longtime rivals, one of the oldest organizations in LPL history. It's Team WE, and while the rivalry might have floundered a bit this past year, it is still alive and well in the Chengdu Arena as these teams load onto the Rift for game number 1.
There we go.
Sometimes I just want to see how long they keep going.
Oh, yeah, that's when you just kind of have to shut them off at that point. It's the first time I've heard OMG crowds be a lot louder than the WE crowds.
Yeah.
Only in Chengdu.
But of course, again, this is the last time we'll get to see OMG in this arena until the 2018 summer split. But looks like we've made our way onto the Rift. It was standard defensive lines, both junglers starting off on the bottom half. Fleet footwork on the Kai'Sa as is standard. And Chelly actually taking the precision that I totally forget the name of.
That was,
Press the attack?
Press the attack,
That's the one.
Yes. And here's the important thing of this. OMG has to be aware of the weakness in the bottom side of the map. Sure, they're trying to take advantage of the fact that that's a Kai'Sa first pick, but it's very hard to do so when you pick up the Ryze mid lane, which means that Cassio's going to have priority in that lane early on. Rek'Sai is going to be incredibly fast in his pathing. So right now, CA and Magic have the bottom lane just completely focused on. So Mystic should be safe, regardless of the first pick priority that he had.
Oh, we've got some stacks building up as Mystic trades out with Chelly. And you're exactly right. That bottom lane is a little bit vulnerable from both sides as 957 is just asserting dominance over Xiang.
Yeah, I mean, even though Swain is a fantastic flex pick and is a strong laner, level 1, when he doesn't have items, when he doesn't have his catalyst, is really poor. Doesn't dish out any bits of damage. So, of course, level 1 shield from 957 will be able to outdo anything.
That's going to be an early heal and the exhaust onto Chelly. All it takes is one more auto, but that's 500 range for you. Can't catch up, and suddenly the trade is no longer favorable for Team WE.
Yeah, but even still, Celestial does have minion dematerializer, so he's going to be fine just hiding behind the wave, pushing that in. So it's going to be Mystic and Celestial getting the first go at the wave.
Magic, in the meanwhile, is taking a deep trip up onto the top half of the map as 957 continues to push Xiang, already forcing him to burn 2 of those corrupting health potion charges. Very aggressive play from Magic this early on. We call him the ganking jungler for Team WE, but right now it seems like he's taking a completely different route with invading and tracking Jekko.
This is what you have to do. If you don't have access to the mid lane gank, if Icon's playing safely in that regard, then you have to take the next target, which is going to be Jekko. And if Jekko's playing safely, then you should take his camps. At any point, you should be able to get an advantage. I know Vitality tried to do something like this in Game 5, and they failed when they were going up against an Ivern just last night. But if you have the stronger mid and jungle synergy, please utilize it. Please.
And that's what we already see from Xie as he is just hovering on that top side of the map. You can see the wards already placed inside OMG's red side jungle from the push pressure and the lane control that Xie has been dominating early on. But unsealed spellbook for Icon means eventually he'll be able to catch up with a recall and Samana. 957, calm yourself, my child.
Yeah, he's going to have a rough time, though. Even though he's winning out in these trades, sustain is still going in favor of Xiang, and the wave is at a really good spot for him as well. He's able to farm up while keeping near his tower, so he has to go in to see if this dive works.
Oh, we could be seeing a dive. Look at that, 120 health. There's the Mia ping. Magic is sitting on Flash.
Oh, and teleport is being used by Ryze mid lane, so he won't be able to help out Xiang.
Magic steps forward. Xiang, recall is canceled. He's going to start walking it off. Never move. Will be able to pull the Rek'Sai forward, but Magic just barely avoids the turret. Xiang is stepping forward. He's got nowhere to go. He just dies. First blood, solo gold to Magic.
And not much you can do there. He just had to give the gold to Rek'Sai, or else it would have been 957 getting it. So at least 957 doesn't get the assist, but he still gets denied the entire cannon wave. I mean, at least he gets 3 minions if he TPs, but that's a lot of experience in gold.
That is a while to go, and already a 20 CS lead for WE's top laner. It's hilarious. They picked the Snowball AD carry, but all of the focus, all of the attention is on the top side of the map where 957 is running rampant.
Yeah, I think that would have not been an issue for OMG had Jekko been topside in that instance, because Xiang had strong wave control near his lane. He just needed the defense of Jekko at that time when the wave was crashing. Defend him on the wave or he loses so much. If he was there for that pushback, then Camille has to base from that. She doesn't get anything off of it. And then suddenly Xiang comes back into lane with at least components for Catalyst. So a lot is lost from Xiang, and it was just a communication error from him and Jieko.
But we do see a little bit of extra farm for Jieko. We'll keep an eye on what lane he decides to impact after being tracked so aggressively early on. Of course, Trundle capable of ganking willy-nilly as he so chooses.
It's a hard life for
that,
Trundle.
pillar.
Early game, sure, he has pressed the attack, and he's going to be able to skirmish the champions if you can catch them. But if you're Magic, you're not going to be looking for a 1v1 versus Jieko. It's not going to happen. As long as he's beside Xie, it's going to be a 2v1. So for Jieko, he can't really gank properly unless if he goes top lane, and even then, just sending out a pillar is not enough. You'd have to expend flash as well. So for Jieko, I don't know, the Trundle pick is going to have some problems.
We'll keep an eye on it. Another recall from Icon as Jieko will be able to secure his Raptor camp this time. Was the crowd actually cheering over the smite for a Raptor camp?
They're cheering for everything right now.
Yeah, apparently very excited for that. Mystic again takes a poor trade against Chelly. The Doran shield should provide some regeneration to at least keep him in a bit. But already we can start to see what happens when, at the highest skill level, you pit Kai'Sa against anyone with higher AD. Or, sorry, higher range.
Yeah, so at this point, of course, getting out-traded as well because it's the fleet footwork versus press the attack. Alistar is going to be able to back her up as well. So at this point, Chelly is doing quite well. Mystic is just keeping up in terms of CS. This wave is going to be coming in, so I would say he's going to be at least behind in terms of 5 CS, but that's not too much if you're just looking to scale up.
Meanwhile, Scuttle Crab being taken by Jieko as 5 finds the engage. That's a stun to trade it back over. Mystic just wants that 5th auto. Ooh, not quite enough damage just yet.
That's really important. That should be Rek'Sai staying in the bottom side. He's actually transporting himself up top side, but if he knew what was happening in the bottom lane, he would have been there just for a defense, or at least, sure, he doesn't have a camp there, so he would lose out in experience for that, but then he puts his bottom lane in peril.
Yeah, just to shadow and keep that bottom lane safe. He's still hanging out down here as Xie will spot Icon trekking his way down towards that bottom lane, and immediately Mystic and Celestial have to pull back. Remember, they don't have items.
At this point, Magic literally did his Wolf camp and then is now going bottom lane. So sure, this might end up working out, but now Mystic and Celestial at least lost about half of that experience hitting the tower.
Mystic's actually stepping forward here for an auto attack. Acathean Rain trades with Chelly just a bit, and now Magic is here to help push the wave. So it looks like the calls for help have been answered from this bottom lane, unlike a certain jungler I know.
There we go. I mean, Jieko, take notes.
I was saying you.
I'm not going to hear that. Jieko, you say.
Yes, that's what I say. 957 with the Sheen will trade with Xiang here. And, ooh. Visions of Empire will force the flash out of 957. He's still sitting on the Hextech Ultimatum. Only 3 soul shards on that Swain, though.
Yeah, you don't want to get slowed by that. You don't want to get pulled in by the follow-up. Then it would be 4 stacks in terms of the soul fragment. It would be quite a bit in terms of the damage that would be expunged off his ulti. So respecting it with a flash of his own. This is when Swain starts to get really scary.
Already starting to scale up. 957 still holding on to about that 20 CS lead as he holds a wave at his turret, but Xiang seems to have recovered so far. Again, we'll be monitoring his progress.
There we go. He gets the catalyst for himself. So now at this point, he's probably going to end up going towards the Rod of Ages for the AP. If he goes in towards Abyssal Mask, then it's just going to be purely for the Cassiopeia, which is going to be a little bit... I just don't agree with it. So Rod of Ages is what it should be, and so he's going to be able to deal with the side lane. They have a 1-3-1 technically because they have the double teleport with Ryze and Swain. So if you're OMG, you're going to be fine just dealing with the lanes, being safe in it, and then once Chelly gets a static shiv, you could start to change up the lanes.
Once again, the trade down bottom, 5 steps up and tags Celestial with a stun, but Mystic is building a healthy amount of AD.
Going for it.
Mystic gets knocked up. Still holding on to the ultimate, though. That adrenaline rush, that Void Assault to chase out. Meanwhile, Flash knock up. Icon actually flashes away from Xie's slow and continues to walk towards his river. You can see 957 is on the way to try to collapse. Xie flashes a wall to land a snow with the miasma. 957 at maximum range catches up the Hextech Ultimatum, and he's going to give the kill over to Xie. What a guy.
Yeah, you know what? That's just strong communication. Magic tagged the Ryze and didn't use his ulti because he recognized 957 was coming in for a flank as well. So they knew that they had 3 members and didn't need to use the extra resource of the Rek'Sai ulti to get the kill.
And now we've got another kill for Team WE. Xie in that mid lane against the retired hitman of Icon.
It's way too early calling him that. Give him a chance.
I'm calling him John Wick is what I imagine that would be more of a compliment than calling him an actual hitman.
Is that even a good movie?
Raz.
I've seen like half of it.
Oh.
Is that the one with the bees?
With the bees?
Uh-oh.
That's B movie.
Okay, we have a problem.
With Jerry Seinfeld. Okay, all right. We're about to get some film culture after the LPL is finished. But for now, we'll keep our film references to a minimum as Celestial face checks a brush, challenging Smite and Subjugate. He's very low defenses right now. Condemn against the wall. He dashes back. The dive. 5 helps get Shelly the kill. Mystic still holding on to it.
Really well done, and the wave is crashing in too. Mystic needs help, so that means Rek'Sai needs to start booking it. You know, maybe not.
Can a Rek'Sai book it? Or does Rek'Sai boogie?
I would say swim. Look at him, swimming.
Spotted out by the ward, placed by OMG. So OMG, we talked about where Gieko would end up going. It looks like it's been that bottom lane. He's roamed down here once, twice. Now he's going to find Xie. Ooh, good sidestep there. But Xie is still just holding his ground against 2 people. Gets ganked and says, you know what? I'm not having any of this.
Yeah, they know that he has his cleanse up too. So at that point, he has cleanse. If he has a good enough range against Ryze, Ryze won't have the damage to kind of take her down. So at that point, responsible decision to walk away.
He still got that Archangels too. So that's a lot of AP. Not quite as much as otherwise, but still respectable.
Yeah. Especially if bottom lane went out so well, Gieko doesn't have to overplay his hand. I mean, this game's looking real good for OMG in the bottom lane with Vayne having that lead.
Slight CS lead and that kill on a Vayne. Not always something that WE would want to see. But there is also incentive to cover this bottom half of the map because of that Mountain Dragon. You can see Celestial and 5 now fighting over vision, but there's still so many deep wards placed by OMG on this side of the map.
Yeah, there's way too much tension bot side. No one wants to start the Dragon because it does way too much damage. So they want the Dragon to be the reward. So the only way the fight gets started is off the towers themselves. If you start chipping at the tower, if you start forcing a dive on that tower. The first dive worked out well because, you know what, no one had the ability to contest OMG's dive. Magic wasn't there. Now Magic is probably hearing it from his team. It's likely going to be there, so watch out for that.
They're trying to collapse onto Xie right now, but immediately Magic turns with the counter gank. Realm Warp allows them to catch up. Flash knock up as 5, 3 versus 2 has split Xie off and picked off a kill.
Now Magic has to head out of there, so really good communication. Specifically Icon sending the Alistar straight in towards the back line. So right there, seems like 5 is in this game. Constantly looking mid, and he's trying to make plays to impact that mid lane matchup. Knows that that's going to be the most crucial point of this game right now.
And again, this is the last set that OMG will play until the summer split starts. They need to have a good showing in front of their fans if they want to try to keep that faith going into the next season.
Oh, and yeah, you know it. This pressure's not stopping either. 957, this is a bait. Sure, he's doing it now, just walking up to the wave because he doesn't see anybody, and he has Magic nearby. But it was Icon and Gieko looming over him at the time.
I love how he immediately just loses patience and says, you know what, I'm going to go in. But there's the Rift Rail being started. Mia pings coming out of Magic as he steps forward. Level 8 to level 8 for both of those smites. Shelly will just chase Gieko back.
Yeah, they decided to call it off. Gieko recognized that Icon didn't have mana. Gieko didn't have mana. So he just tried to be cheeky and take the Rift Herald. Realized, I'm not going to call Icon for basing. So, you know what? Another responsible choice from Gieko. Says that I am going to value my laner's time, and you can just head back. I'll come back for this later.
Those laners have been so important to Team WE. Xie early on in the split, stepping up as a major carry for the team. Seems like he's trying to replicate that performance with the Cassiopeia here. 957 also has been on fire lately as well.
Incredible, I would say, solid force top lane for 957. We sing Xie's praises so often just because mid lane, every interview that we've had with WE players, specifically Magic recently, he's been saying that major shot caller, communicator is Xie. He's been really a backbone for the team, and the gank's been coming through mid lane just because of how successful it's constantly working out for them. It works out for him, and he's able to snowball his lead because he's a commander knowing what to do with his lead, going into side lanes constantly. So it works out for him, and 957 is always able to back him up in team fights.
They've been doing great work together. As look at Xion proxying between the turrets. Meanwhile, there's actually a fight in the bottom lane as Chelly's forced to flash. He did burn the final hour and dash back. Magic Tries to get into the fight, but it is a bait. Dzeko in the river.
Very patient right here. Chelly, full HP. Right now, OMG can take a fight. It's WE that can't. Mystic doesn't have much HP to his name, so he's very easy to get poked out here.
Still keeping even in CS with Chelly, but tragically that Void Rush doesn't do anywhere near as much as a final hour when used appropriately. Quick displacement dash and a shield. Meanwhile, Dragon has been started by the OMG bottom lane. There's no teleport from either top laner.
Ooh.
So it's just these bottom members on this half of the map. It's pulled out of the pit, ward over the wall.
They can do this very quickly, so it's going to be on Magic to try and smite steal this.
He's got the tunnel ready, but Dzeko pillars early, and as such, OMG have to back away. Who's going to look for the execution? Level 9 to level 8. Magic actually has the bigger smite. They actually just turn onto Dzeko. He still gets the dragon, though, as he holds his ground.
Magic did not have smite. It really felt like he didn't. I just looking at his cooldown timer on that one. So Dzeko knew that he was able to take it for himself, even had the bite in terms of execute. So thankfully OMG is able to still get it. I don't know why they backed away from it though, because Chelly and Five were at a really decent position for themselves.
Meanwhile, we do see some pushing onto the mid-tier 1. Visions of War as Xiong will get a late roam to try to match that of 957's earlier. More trading bottom as Five is actually forced to use the Unbreakable Will. That's what the trade is supposed to look like for the Kai'Sa mains watching.
Yeah, there's just more long-term damage here coming in from Chelly. So thankfully, your WE getting ulti off of Five means that you can look for these fights a little bit more cleanly and start prioritizing Five in terms of damage because it can actually last.
Oh, he could have completed that.
Yes, he could have.
But he decides not to. Magic is actually on this side of the map. Could it perhaps be a bait? There's even a ping coming out from OMG. Seems like they might expect something like this is happening.
Yeah, both of these teams, unfortunate that they don't know that this ward is still here. Yeah, both of these teams have been baiting towards these ganks so frequently that they're just expecting it to happen. So a lot of patience from both Chelly and Mystic to not get baited in for these.
Meanwhile, Icon and Dzeko, we're roaming down towards that bottom half of the map. Just in case Rek'Sai was getting a bit frisky for a dive either way.
Yeah, if you're Magic, look towards mid lane. That's the easy win for yourself just because that tower is incredibly low. Cassiopeia is doing really well for herself in the lane. So start looking topside. Topside's a viable answer too. Swain got dived once, he can get dived again.
Flash gets him away from 957. And there's no ultimatum to lock him down as Xie is just a little bit too far away.
And this is the luxury you have for your WE.
Oh, he's still stepping up though. The pillar is behind him, but back against the cone. He still trades back against OMG.
Yeah, he lost a lot of HP for that one, so very unfortunate for Xie. He's going to have to try and sustain himself here in the lane.
Luckily, the Twin Fang will give him some help there.
What I was about to say, though, is that if you're Rek'Sai, looking for bottom lane so heavily is not going to pay off.
Mm-hmm.
The major payoff is going to be coming through mid lane. Even if you can't get the turret itself, you can still lead Cassiopeia to either lane. You have the luxury of your choices here, either going towards bottom lane and shoving them off the tower, or going up to the top lane and looking for a dive. You can do the same thing. It's on Dzeko to try and answer you.
It's actually Dzeko who's making a rather clever play right now by soloing the Rift Herald deep inside of the pit. There's no vision from WE, and with it about to time out in 20 seconds, WE must assume that he's just farming. It's a free take for OMG, and there's no trade for Team WE on the other side.
Yeah, major win for Dzeko. Not a lot of people end up getting away with that just because a few cheeky wards come through. I'm surprised 957 didn't place one himself just because he had a lot of pressure here in the river.
Oh, mid-tier 1 is the first turret that is broken. Xie's push pressure in the mid lane is collapsed upon by WE. They're able to open up.
You can count on WE to just take that step back and recognize what's easier for yourself in the lane. So this time around, as I said, got the mid lane tower. Now they can push in an extra wave and look elsewhere.
OMG might try to swing back though. Five and Chelly make their way into the mid lane as Xie's Noxious Blast clears out that minion wave, but Dzeko, just outside of vision, drops the Herald.
I don't know about this one. Vayne and Alistar are heading towards the bottom lane. If this takes the tower, I'd be incredibly surprised.
Big charge. Dzeko steps up and the pillar to deny any further help, but yeah, it was optimistic.
They could have used it on the cannon wave that was coming in, and they could have asked their bottom lane to stay in the lane. That actually would have taken the tower just because of how much HP the tower would have been working with. So that's just Bad calls from Jericho. Could have held on to it too. So he didn't even have the excuse of it's about to expire. I need to use it now.
And this perhaps could be why we look to the communication of Team OMG, because they are cycling through junglers so frequently here in the LPL. Remember, this isn't the OMG that went to Rift Rivals and helped the LPL team so aggressively. This is a completely different team, though some of the names may look the same. They have not seen that success since that Rift Rivals meta.
Yeah, the two questions they have to ask themselves are who's the carry without SMLC and who's the shot caller if you don't have a constant jungler. That being said, OMG 5 is going to be looking for that play.
Oh, Ignite. They're just going to burst through Magic's health bar. 4, nearly 5 members on that side of the map. Meanwhile, Mystic is recalling while Xiong takes a turret. And it is a very happy trade for OMG.
Yeah, it looks like 5 is just speaking to us. He's saying, I'm the captain now. We're going to the mid lane, and it's going to be WE that tries to stop us. It might fail.
Certainly might. Brings the wave in, but there's still that minion dematerializer. He's sitting on 3 charges just in case we see a Banner of Command later on.
That's true.
Even Mystic is playing scared on the other side of the map.
The reason it's looking so good for OMG right now is the static shift purchase from Vayne means that they get the opportunity to push a lane much quickly than Mystic can. So they can push a wave and look to roam. Right now, Vayne has the opportunity of just staying within her own lane, doesn't necessarily need the help. So now 5 can look to roam elsewhere. At this point, I want to see what their lane assignments can be, because this is when I'm looking towards Icon and Xiong taking side lanes. But now that you have a Vayne, you can be a little bit more versatile in taking Vayne in side lanes. So if they see Kai'Sa top lane alone, Vayne is going to answer that.
Absolutely a happy trade. Realm Warp down bottom to find 957, but Jericho hops out. Pillar of Filth for the slow, but 957 still has flash, and WE turn towards the Baron in full vision of Team OMG, but Icon has got to hoof it to that side of the map along with Jericho. Teleport gets Xiong and 957 into the pit. It's 5 versus 3. Baron picked up by Team WE. They turn onto Shelly. He's caught in the ultimatum, but they need to finish him off. That's 1 kill for Mystic. 957 goes in, but Shelly dodges and gets another. Meanwhile, WE with the Baron. Are they going to decide to chase or back away?
They have to get out of there. OMG only had 2 members for that fight, and the saddest thing about that is that Shelly did get a massive outplay. Got an ulti Q out, ducked away from the hook shot coming in from 957, was able to get the kill. So at least they trade in that regard. But losing Baron, major oversight because they tried for a bottom lane play when WE was completely on the top side of the map.
And that's where Kai'Sa comes in clutch. That passive shred on Baron is so powerful at burning through its health. Not to mention, it's not like there's a 2-1-2 Cassiopeia with 270 CS 22 minutes into the game, but here's that fight again. WE put their backs against the wall, and OMG try to filter in.
Yep, percentage damage coming out of the 2 champions you mentioned. Take a look at this. Just appreciate the fact that Shelly was able to get at least this. So he's on a highlight reel somewhere in the world. He's on a YouTube video.
Already?
That's his takeaway, yeah.
Okay.
They work quickly.
That's a fast turnaround. As an editor myself, that is impressive.
Some people out there, I don't know, they have some kind of insight. They're oracles, really.
Prophets, you might even say.
100%.
But now Baron for Team WE. The thing that they see in their future is an imminent victory over Team OMG. And look at this, Mystic's actually gone for the Runon's build, trying to go for E-Evolve second. Instead of going for the Guinsoo's second. Guinsoo's third, it looks like, is on the queue for him with the recurve bow and a pickaxe. Such an expensive build for Kai'Sa, but hey, it pays off if you got the kills.
Yeah, got the kills. Has the CS, 256 for his name, so he has a 20 CS advantage over Shelly, so he can just dish out the cash, go towards the build. Guinsoo's is always rough, so I don't expect him to be basing it anytime soon just because now he has to go for the blasting wand. So as long as he can just pick up
and
side
the
waves.
completion buy.
I know, right? So that's just quite a lot to invest in. So as long as he doesn't base anytime soon, then they're all right. That's why I'm expecting WE to play a little bit more lamer at this point in time. Sure, they have Baron, but as long as they can take the Baron objectives being the 2 inner towers and start farming it out a little bit, it helps out Mystic quite a bit.
Now we don't have teleport for 9.
Oh, he's going for
5 is Hex flashing.
Into our hearts, into our minds, right there. Mind blown.
Okay. Can you change the direction of Hex Flash while you're channeling it?
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay, so he was like going, and then somebody said no, and he said okay,
yeah,
and then just went backwards.
That's the real story of
I
it.
see.
That's definitely the real story. I use it a lot on Alistar, just sitting in lane. I would Hex Flash and then just flash, or at least Hex Flash away from them, just saying I'm zoning you from the wave. I'm just not gonna miss.
Here comes the Baron Cannon minion. Mystic's actually doing big damage, and the turret is broken down. Mid-tier 2 opened up. There's the swap as expected. To bottom lane, it's actually Xie and Magic who are heading over. Mystic and Celestial still hold down the wave here.
Yeah, they have good control wards too. WE has good control wards in that blue side jungle, so they don't necessarily have to commit to these turrets. It's OMG that has to stay in their side of the map until they see WE.
Oh, Xie cleanses. He steps forward, but gets a stun onto 3 as the fight breaks out. Jekko is dead. Mystic Kurt skiting around the side, trying to get in, but he's pulled with another excellent never move. And that's another kill over to Chelly. Realm Warp to chase, but WE, they've gone way too far. This is not a fight they can win unless it's a massive outplay. And with the carries dead, 957 has nothing to do but die himself. WE walk into the waiting arms of OMG's ace.
Yeah, a little bit awkward. This is when they realize that the single target damage coming out of Rise in Vayne is a little bit too massive. So Magic walks up, realizes that he's not a true tank for himself. Gets obliterated quickly, same with 957. And the moment you take 2 of those tanks down, then it's just Mystic and Xie realizing that they're alone. That was a great ulti from Xie. He got 3 people off of it for himself.
But it was already reactionary. It was after he got hit by the never move.
Yep. That's when it gets sad. So just take a second look at this. So the never move comes out really well done by Xiang. So he gets 3 people in the snare. But that's just the sad part of it. Is that sure, you're able to take down Jekko, but you're getting bursted down by Vayne and Rise. And if you don't have the tanks to walk up and zone for you, you're going to fall.
And another excellent never move just afterwards to pull Mystic in. The 2 carries of Team WE chunked out and killed in the span of a few seconds. And like you said, that single target damage is just so threatening. It really seems like OMG's composition preys on the mistakes of your opponents. If anybody
100%.
steps up, Trundle is like, I'm just going to split you off from your team.
Yeah, and it wasn't even optimal damage too. Chelly was just attack moving. He was actually hitting minions on the way there too. So he was just saying, if I was focusing really hard on this fight, you would die faster. This is the fact of the matter.
Is that actually the phrase? The fact of the matter?
Either work. One is more correct.
I mean, as a matter of fact,
the fact
Team
of the
WE, they're still in the lead.
You got me.
I'm trying to, but still, OMG breaking down the tier 1. Or at least they're trying to, and they don't.
Yeah, here's the thing too. Right now, Chelly is a massive threat to deal with. Has 3 crit items to himself. Static Shiv, of course, has the Infinity Edge and the Rapid Fire Cannon. He only really needs an armor penetration item. Doesn't actually, you know what? He can even just go Bloodthirster if he wants. He can do whatever he wants at this point, just because there's not a lot of tanks walking up to him. Yeah. Sure, Magic has armor, but it's just really Magic and Celestial.
There goes another shot from Mystic to try and defend, but 5 is on the side with his own flash, ready for the engage. OMG just outside of vision. 5? Maybe 4. Decides to walk it off.
Well, he'll see them in 3 minutes.
I mean, he still has the flash. What happens in 3 minutes?
I was just trying to be synergistic with you. Really, he'll just see you in 1 minute.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Mountain's coming up in 1 minute, so at that point, that's when he'll see them.
I mean, hopefully they see him first so they don't end up getting caught themselves, because as you said, that Mountain is up in 30 seconds. Baron respawns in 40, and this is going to be a much closer fight. Guinsoo's finally finished on Mystic. Of course, each attack from the Runaans reduces the E cooldown by 1.5 seconds instead of only a half second, as each bolt also counts as an attack. And once Guinsoo's is fully stacked, every other hit applies an extra shot of your passive. So you go from a 5-hit champion to a 3-hit champion.
And she's incredibly strong with crit as well, so the fact that he has crit should be going towards Infinity Edge afterwards as well. It's going to be crucial in how the fights end up turning out. He can get a proper flank on towards Icon or Chelly, then it would work out for himself. The difficulty that I see here for him is that at this point, if you're OMG, there's so many champions that can lock you down, lock Mystic down. And 5 might even look for flank plays. That's what he's been trying to do recently. So it's very hard for Mystic to find openings in this fight because there's a lot of CC to lock him down.
But look at this. 957, did he actually manage to sneak through the vision of OMG? Xiang is still pushing down in that bottom lane, and there's a Warden River to watch for this. So that's just going to be the Mountain Dragon being taken by 957.
The moment the Icon shows up, the moment it shows up, the 957 is taking this. They're going to go straight towards Baron, or at least they should.
The immediate turn and engage onto Xiang might be a bit too much for 957, as that Eldritch Blast is doing a lot of damage. There's shotgun magic shots, and 957 has got to run away.
That's like a 2-second cooldown, so at this point, Xiang is just going to try and find him. So now that he's tracked 957, at this point, OMG is going to go straight towards Baron, because as long as 957 is still on the map, he cannot TP to the play.
Xiang is still looking for him.
I'm actually disappointed OMG just didn't try and go for it. They have tanks there. Alistar could have tanked it, or maybe even, I would say Jieko tanks it, so Alistar looks for the fight.
Here they go. That's the Ghost. Flash knockup onto Xie. Visions of Auras. 957 is showing up from behind. Xiang tries to get in, but that's a teleport as 957 has found Icon in the back. And meanwhile, Xiang just got destroyed. 957 still alive. Finally dies to the auto attack, but the team is split on opposite sides of the wall. OMG chase it down. Jieko split goes down. Icon steps up, but Celestial tanking in the front. Blocks the hits. A huge 4-man knockup. A huge chunk of burst, but it's still not enough.
Oh!
Chelly's feeling it. He flashes in. He gets one. Does he have enough for two as Mystic is in the back? He's found one, and the carries for WE come up aces, and they win this round.
The surgical precision there of WE was what won them that fight. They shouldn't have won just based off the raw strength of Chelly and Icon, but the moment they started to funnel through in that corridor, you saw, of course, the miasma come through. Suddenly, Jieko's on his own. He gets assassinated. Suddenly, of course, Chelly gets blown up by the fact that Mystic goes in towards the backside. So that was so well done by Mystic and Xie alone in that fight.
Individually smashing their opposite opponents. Mystic finding Icon. Here's that fight again. Great knockup to engage it from 5.
Yeah, great knockup. Here comes the problem from OMG, though, because Xiang is going to try and play, I'm going to lock you down, hopefully, try and be annoying, but he gets completely demolished. So the moment 957 wastes a lot of time, finally gets locked down, take a look at the miasma. Icon, Chelly, 5 cannot follow Jieko. He gets obliterated. Suddenly 5, the main point of engage, has to walk up. He goes in, but the moment he does that, suddenly Icon and Chelly are left to themselves. So they still try and walk up even with 5 not being able to tank for themselves, and that's when they can get torn apart and OMG gets shattered.
Wow. I cannot believe Xie was able to keep his cool when there was a Vayne firing full auto onto him. He's still able to stand around, kite as best he can, and find that kill in the end. Mystic cleaning up Icon on the back. Target selection was surgical, as you mentioned, Raz. But now the Baron is being done by OMG. Their vision control is surgical. Even Xiang getting in with the visions of Empire to help it out. Realm Warp to provide an escape. That was almost a bit too close as Jieko's left in the pit. He's got no flash. And while OMG have the Baron, they will have to sacrifice one of their members to get it.
Yeah, I wouldn't really call that one surgical. It was more like, all right, guys, we got to do something. Snag it and go. I mean, at least they get the Baron, so that's a positive.
Yeah.
That's really strong for OMG's side. So that's a good response, able to steal it for themselves, and now they can get true pressure on the map.
We'll see if they can claim it while their middle inhibitor is down and Jieko is still dead. But 3 minutes are on the timer for OMG to try and get back in gold. And it's still only 1,400 between these two teams. Big points to note is Infinity Edge has been finished by Mystic. He has 4 items on that Kai'Sa. Meanwhile, 3 items on the Vayne across from him. And the Spellbinder finished off for Icon. Rabadon's finished for Xie. These are massive damage carries. Oh, it's just a blast cone. Yep. He was in the river. He was right there.
Yep, and they do so much damage to it, of course. Jieko's going to tank it for himself as well. So it's just that quickly. And the moment you have Vayne in the mid lane pushing up the wave, you're like, they can't be doing Baron. How could they be doing Baron if we had the vision on towards the river and the top side of the map, and we see their AD carry pushing up mid?
I think the best part of all of that was Icon almost hitting the eject button a little bit too soon. Okay, we've got it. Let's get out of here. No, wait, we need to actually get it.
I was just waiting for them to just peace out while
and
it was
leave
still
the Baron
at, like,
at
10
400
HP.
health. Yeah.
I was waiting
Celestial
for it.
walks up, ults, and takes it. But now it's Jieko back on the map, and WE are the ones who are defending. 957 is flanking on the side. He doesn't have flash or teleport, so he's got the good old-fashioned hook shot to pick off a target.
Are you telling me that OMG has 3 people that can be on side lane and not one of them are doing so? Like, the side lanes right now are Baron and are in fact pushing towards OMG. They need to get them together. They have Baron. I actually don't understand. I guess
yes,
they're just
but they
gonna
have team fight, Raz.
Yeah, I guess they're brute forcing. This is happening.
They just want to try to take a hammer to the shell that is WE's base, but they cannot get close enough. That's a Cassiopeia and a Kai'Sa defending that turret.
So you can't dive them. You know, check that one off the list. You can't siege because you have Vayne with no range, so check that one off the list. They're going to try and dive, but 5 is currently in the lane and not trying to flank. You check that one off the list.
And the lane that they're pushing down has super minions coming out of it.
Yeah, you can check that one off the list. There's a lot
this list is getting longer and longer, Rez.
It's really unfortunate that OMG decided to make the worst decision possible when they had multiple decisions to make. Let's put that one out there.
Okay, now they've reset. They've only wasted 2 minutes of that Baron. Elder Dragon is up in 30 seconds.
What can they do with the third one?
The third.
The third minute. The third minute that they have available to them. There we go. So the
Bloodthirster finished off by Chelly.
Baron that they got for themselves turned into nothing.
It did stall the game out a bit more, which might allow them to get in, considering they do have a Vayne and a Ryze into Swain.
Yeah, but the composition is strong enough to win these fights. So they should be confident in putting themselves in side lanes and then converging onto mid lane turret and then winning based off the flank pressure and the amount of damage Icon and Chelly has. But they decided that they're not actually good enough in terms of team fighting. So they're going to play defensively.
Well, now Elder Dragon has spawned. WE, the Elder Dragon team of yore, ages past, now find themselves in a situation that is very comfortable for Mystic and Xie. 2 massive carries, 5 items on each.
Yeah, and look at the 2 to 3 corridors that lead towards this dragon. This is the one that's being controlled right here, and Miasma is going to close a lot of that off. And if you can get past the Miasma, Celestial's just going to throw a door at you to slow you down. So there are so many ways for WE to come out in an advantage if OMG's trying to contest for this Elder Dragon.
Recall just completed from Icon. He's now made his way out of base. Fully 6 items on that Ryze. Realm Warp actually to try and catch up. Immediate pings onto the Baron. Sorry, the Elder Dragon from Team WE. They started off and they're shredding through its health, trying to finish it off the Miasma, and Elder Dragon is picked up.
Yep, and they're just going to try and chase him down. Hookshot's going to be the way that they get into this fight. In fact, WE's just saying, nah, we've done enough here. And they just want to get mid lane control. I wonder how they do it. Do they just brute force through the mid lane?
Seems like that might be it. The wave is just pushed out. They're still sitting on top of a single ward that's finally cleared out as Xiong heads top to try and defend against a minion wave. I
am just getting more and more confused with what OMG's trying to do. They're just waddling around in the mid lane when they could actually be pushing out a top lane that's pushing against them. What do you have the Swain for? What do you have Icon and Vayne for? Who's going to take the side wave? Honestly, I would be expecting for them to fight over the wave. But they're just fighting over not taking the wave.
They're fighting WE instead.
They're not even fighting WE!
Would you rather have them...
They're fighting nobody.
Would you rather have them fighting each other or fighting the enemy team?
I mean, sure, if that's the option, I'll just, fight the enemy team.
That's what they're doing. They're trying to do, Raz.
They're sitting in the lane. They're taking out their lawn chairs.
Got themselves a nice cool can of soda in the hot summer sun. Sitting on the lawn, passing the time, selling propane and propane accessories. But Baron's now up in 90 seconds. WE still sitting on that Elder Dragon buff. This is a scary scenario for OMG to find themselves in. It's going to come down to the actual plays of this last big fight. Because it doesn't look like anyone's giving the opportunity to get picked off.
Yeah, especially the fact that Xie has himself both Cleanse and Banshee's Veil. So he has 2 options to get out of any CC that flies his way. So Xie is going to be hard to kill. Mystic, perhaps. I think Mystic could be the go-to here since he doesn't even have his Cleanse from, or at least QSS, I mean.
Still sitting on that Null Magic Mantle as they're starting to step forward and clear out the vision of Team WE.
Okay, so Vayne has the most expensive build you can go for with the Bloodthirster just because he doesn't have to go towards any bit of armor penetration. So right now, he has that massive shield for himself. He's level 17. He should feel a little bit more confident with just calling 5 to walk forward, and he can just go for the first target in front of him.
WE, though, take the initiative. Quickly push up top before that Vayne can get there with the very expensive build, and break down that tier 2. Still, OMG find themselves struggling to take initiative in this fight. 5 has succeeded when he's done it before in this game, but still needs to find the right opportunity to.
Yeah, and it seems like that location is going to be towards that Baron. The fact that Baron's coming up right now, the base of comes off. So right now, if you're OMG, you have to wrestle control of your own red side jungle, your favor. Right now, there's a lot of blue wards in your red jungle. So if they can get some control wards down and start to clear that out, so they can look to contest Baron that could be burnt out by WE, then they're in a decent spot.
And goodness bless Mystic going for the Hex Drinker instead of the QSS.
Real?
You know what? I'm just going to eat the stun. I'll be fine against a 100 stack Spellbinder Ryze.
So like, what he's going up against is a Rune Prison, the E from Swain.
Never move.
Yep. The Alistar headbutt pulverize so he can cleanse or QSS flash.
Even a condemn.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, the condemn definitely. So there's a lot that he could use a QSS for. He just doesn't want to deal with the damage, the burst from both of the mages of Swain and Rise.
All right, now WE have repositioned. They've put their backs to the Baron, sitting on top of a ward. No sweeper, though they do have some control wards in their pockets.
They're going for it.
They're going to try to start this out. Remember, they have got a lot of percent shred. Immediately, Jericho rushes in. He's knocked up. The CC. Look at the damage. Finally, a big knockout from 5, but it's not enough as Mystic gets the kill. Shie walks into the ultimatum along with Mystic. They're trading damage. A double kill for Mystic, and he still continues to kite it out. Xiang on the front. Icon gets one. The dash into the back. A triple kill. Could this be the play? As he turns onto Icon, Mystic is going to get the quadra kill, but is denied the penta by his teammate Shie.
And he has to be chewing out Shie. The fact that he wasn't able to get that beautiful pentakill, but he was able to find himself success in that team fight. Really well from Mystic to find that opportunity to dash in and assassinate Chelly.
And now this is WE pushing on to the inhibitor. The minion wave is very far away, and it's 20 seconds before 5 is back up. You've got to wonder about the comms here. They can taste the end of the game. It is right there in front of them, but they need to wait for that minion wave, and they might not be able to end it here.
Yeah, do quick maths here. That's 5 seconds on Trundle. Yeah, they started to realize it's starting to click. They can't do this, so they're going to head out. But they got the waves at least. The waves are pushing mid lane, so they can base a little bit more comfortably.
Now there's a lot of vision around this pit, and remember, these are the 2 members with that percent shred. Mystic steps up and starts shredding down the Baron. Shie firing across. Teleport is ready from Xiang, but the Baron is so low and is already picked up by WE before Xiang even spawns.
That's how fast it is. I mean, Rek'Sai just has to sit there. It doesn't have to do too much damage. Just take a look at this, because the primary focus of damage here is going to be Vayne if you're looking at OMG. But Vayne's not able to do much because she immediately gets exhausted, and then she gets the miasma to the face, so she doesn't have an ability to deal any damage. Chelly is literally going back and forth, somehow gets stunned, and then gets obliterated.
957 sacrifices himself by hook-shotting with 2 True Silver Bolt stacks into the Vayne. Taps the stun, which applies the plasma, and Mystic just goes in.
I was wondering which stun it was, because he was able to get 957 mid-air, but the fact that it still landed.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, very sad, but it still happened and Chelly lost
timing.
out.
Yeah, if the fight had actually reset and continued to play it out from front to back, it might have gone completely different. Did he just 3-shot that blue buff?
Yeah, the man has a lot of AP.
Pretty big.
Rabadon's a death cap.
Radabans. But blue buff now picked up by Shie. Makes his way to the top half of the map. And WE, that was an exceptional fight. We did get to see the Kai'Sa quadra kill, but they still have to end this game. They need minions to do that.
Yes, the awkward part is it could just be another pentakill setup, because OMG has to defend this tower that's right now in front of their inhibitor. So if you defend that inhibitor, sure, that's great. If you don't, that's 2 inhibitors being taken down on the top side, and W has a gifted win. So right now is another opportunity for Mystic to look for another proper team fight, because OMG needs to defend this.
OMG are over the wall. 5 has got his flash this time. 957 is split pushing bottom, but all 5 members of OMG are defending top. Wave quickly cleared out by that Rise, but they've already lost a tier 2. No banner of command means it's an old-fashioned siege for OMG.
This is getting lame here. The fact that WE can just sit here and not have to press up towards the tower because Camille is already doing the work in the bottom side.
Mystic just firing those shots one after another. Looking
Here's
for
the
a
one-on-one
juicy target to assassinate. Yeah, on the bottom lane, 957. He's fighting with Icon. He's actually winning that engage down there.
Hook shot.
And that's already the engage. They turn it around. That's the solo kill for 957. He's burning down in health, but walks away with his life while his inhib is taken by his team.
Yeah, he had to try and outplay it. Icon didn't have flash. It was just coming up now. The fact that he didn't have it for himself means that he's not going to survive the second hook shot that hit him in the face.
Immediately teleporting back in. Look at how quickly he breaks through the 3rd and final inhibitor, OMG, with Baroned up super minions. 50 seconds on the clock. Now find themselves facing down against Team WE. Snowballing forward, they drive in. Where does OMG draw the line? Petrifying Gaze. Celestial steps forward. 957 hook shot onto the side. Shie goes in. He's found the initial engage. Mystic dashes forward, is able to kill Jekko, but doesn't get too much else as Xiang flashes onto the fountain. Exhaust denies his damage. Flash knockup. He's pulled in. He is dead. Shie still kiting around the side though as the minions are finishing it off. Xiang firing shots. 957 is low, but Magic and Shie
Chelly's
holding
a beast.
down the line. Chelly is exactly that. And now 957 557 turns to the Nexus. Double kill from Xiang. Xie steps up. It's 1 versus 1. Mono-y-mono. Mage versus Mage. They trade. They die. And the minions are now Winions as they take game 1 for WE.
This is when you gift them the jerseys as well. The minions, now the official member of Team WE. That's how you end the game. God damn. All right.
What an ending to that. Oh, boy.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All right, okay.
Let me tell you.
Uh-huh.
We don't need to send it off to the analyst desk, and I'm sure we're going to have to do it.
No. We're keeping it here. We're going to break this down, Raz.
Let me tell you what happened.
Tell me what happened.
OMG got outplayed in team fights. Outplayed in team fights so heavily, and we broke down the replays, about 2 of them, when it happened around Baron and around the mid lane.
Yeah.
Where there were just so many opportunities for OMG to protect their AD carry, protect Vayne, or just Vayne to find some auto attacks when she was on Miasma. But he didn't find that safety. There's a lot of anxiety around Chelly. And so, even though he was able to dish out that damage, wasn't enough.
Yes.
It was Mystic that came out ahead.
And this is where we look to Chelly stepping up more for the team. He's had MVP performances. We've really seen him grow quite a bit. But when he's up against Xie, one of the best mid laners in the league, dropping those miasmas, when we're seeing Mystic take Kai'Sa and actually looking remarkably proficient on the champion, this is just the difference between our top-level AD carries and our high-level AD carries.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably really envious of the situation that Mystic was in currently, because even though Mystic had some great opportunities in those team fights, he was set up to succeed. If OMG's team fight shot calling was what we saw around Baron, or if their Baron shot calling of how they utilize Baron is just to sit in mid lane and do nothing, I'm pretty sad if I'm an AD carry. I'm not going to lie.
That's funny that you bring it up like that, because that's actually a valid Baron strategy when you've got a banner of command.
A banner of command,
or a Zerat portal, or
anything that you can siege or dive with, but when you recognize that you can't dive against that composition, or at least if Alistar is not set up to do so because he's not looking for a flank, then what are you really doing? You had so many opportunities to find yourself in side lanes, they didn't do it. I mean, I already echoed all of that on cast, so you could find my ramblings there. But I was just like,
got the footage.
I just flabbergasted.
And again, this is OMG not stepping up the way that we want them to. This isn't the team that went to Rift Rivals, and we've got to look at the communication. We've got to look at the shot calling for this. 5, he had a couple of moments during those games where he stepped up and he was like, I want to flash. I want to get. We're not going to the analyst desk. We're staying here. We're breaking down this game.
You get out of here. You're going to too overpowered.
No, we got to. We can break it down, Rez. You and me.
Calm yourself. But yes, I will say
the analysts are about to go and break down this game. Take it away.
Thank you, Dom.
Let's get the real professionals on camera now.
Yeah, us, the 2 of us, not Dom and the other guy. Still have no idea who he is. He just hijacked the desk for a little bit and disappeared. But let's break down that game, starting from picks and bans, because we got the Kai'Sa first lock coming up for Team WE, and we're going to deep dive into the champion later on. But still, curious picks. It was a bloody game, and this is what we expected between the 2 teams, because the points don't matter at the moment.
Yeah, and I will say that I do agree with that other guy's sentiment that OMG just got out team fought. But that said, it is actually very hard for OMG to win these team fights, because a lot of them are going to be played front to back. And the issue is that you're playing front to back on 2 very short range or mid-range carries in Ryze and Vayne against a Cassiopeia. And while Kai'Sa and Cass are also kind of that mid-range, it's still incredibly threatening to dive back there. And it worked out sometimes, but it was more so, 5 stepping up and Team WE disrespecting, versus when Team WE got their ducks in a row, it's very hard for OMG to even break into that composition. And then Kai'Sa is able to, ping-pong around the backline and find assassinations when she feels comfortable that they've already killed the tank line.
It was a really good play coming up from Mystic time and time again, but on top of that, OMG, they were pretty lucky in the few fights where Team WE were able to take them down. OMG somehow still secured Baron for themselves, and that kind of seemed to prolong the game for quite some time against Team WE.
I don't know if lucky is the word that I would use there. I think that you're still seeing the growing pains or the cracks in Team WE. Like, there's a reason why they're coming in as the 4th playoff seed as opposed to, the 1st playoff seed. And even though this game doesn't mean anything, even though it was very clear that Team WE were having some fun there, that OMG were laughing back, they're one of the teams that when you smile at them, they'll smile back at you. It was still kind of a symptom of a lot of the problems that we've seen over the course of the split, and that is what you can expect. If you are going to exploit WE, it would be in those instances.
And that's just game number 1 of the best of 3 series. We're going to get 2 or 1 more bloody match between these 2 teams before moving on to the next series. We have 3 series to be played here today. And let's give something over towards Dom, which Dom would really like us to do right now, which is break down this Kai'Sa pick, because we're starting to see it a little bit more
in this
internationally.
Segment, brought to you by Don Romer.
We're starting to see it played in the LPL quite heavily as well. 6 picks so far. This will be pick number 6 in the LPL. We've seen multiple different
And
builds.
it's not even 8.6. We're still at 8.5. 8.6 will be here for the playoffs, though, so I'm ready for more Kai'Sa. But the thing is when Kai'Sa first came out, I was actually pretty heavily against it, or as I like to call her, Space Vayne. Space Vayne, the thing is that for Kai'Sa, I feel like her numbers almost had to be overtuned because it's really hard to nail down the intangibles and the utility of her kit, that mobility that we're talking about. Because she does play very different than other ADCs. You know, like Vayne, she can be put out into a side lane because she does have that dueling potential, because she does have the safety. But I felt like if her numbers weren't putting her over the edge, that if you tune back that kit, that Kai'Sa would be pushed out by champions like Alistar. Because the only way really to kill her is to lock her with CC. But her short range does leave her vulnerable to that.
Yes, it does feel very similar to Master Yi in a sense, where you have to lock him down with crowd control. If not, he's just going to pop off and deal a ton of damage during these team fights. We saw that in the last team fight of the match, but here were a couple where we saw the utility and the repositioning for Mystic win team fights for the team.
And the reason why I call her Space Vayne is because she shares very similar attributes. Not just her dueling and assassination potential, but her chase potential. And the fact that she can find you anywhere in that team fight was ridiculous. Zips over the wall, then is immediately behind the next opponent, and then this is the quadra kill. And again, it's a ping pong maneuver. As soon as the tanks are dead and Kai'Sa is free, that they don't have any more hard CC, I'm zipping into the back line.
This is where
Vayne,
as you mentioned, was able to pick up the quadra kill in the back line, dashing back over, going for that assassination. Something we see Kai'Sa do quite frequently since the release.
And the thing is so we said we were going to do a deep dive. So we can look at the two different type of build paths that we've seen from Kai'Sa. Right now on 8.6, obviously the adjustments to Rageblade mean that Rageblade becomes a higher priority. On 8.5, Mystic still built it today, but we kind of have two core builds. You have the dueling build between the Rageblade, the Death Stance, Nashor's Tooth, things like that, and then you have more of the traditional crit scaling ADC build, the Essence Reaver, the Hurricane, the Infinity Edge, you know, the ability to sit in the backline and be more of that traditional ADC.
Yeah, and we saw that was the build, as you said, from Mystic today, was more the traditional ADC, going towards the Essence Reaver. Does pick up a Rageblade in there somewhere to allow for that dueling and the double stack of the passive to still take place on Kai'Sa, and that's what we've seen players like SMLZ currently build as well. Still on 8.5, so the buffs haven't come through for Kai'Sa. Yes, was tuned back slightly when she was over buff, but she's still a 500 range AD carry at the moment. Does get buffed up to 525, which helps her out a lot. That's Jinx minigun range, but 500 is incredibly short for a hyper carry.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is then how she's able to compensate for that short range by having such incredible mobility and then such a powerful steroid. So I believe it's plus 80% attack speed
at max rank.
At max rank, which is fairly early on in the game. I mean, you're basically entering team fights when she's going to have all 5 points in that ability and have that type of steroid. And it lasts 5 seconds.
Yes.
Vayne's final hour lasts 8 seconds, and it can stack up, you know, if she gets more kills and she's playing janitorial duty. But it's on a ridiculously long cooldown, and the type of steroid that you're getting is very, very similar.
8, 10, and 12 seconds for final hour, extended by 4 seconds every time Vayne is able to kill a champion or is close to killing a champion that dies within 3 seconds for Kai'Sa, though. This is kind of why we're seeing the Essence Reaver build as well, because that attack steroid is very mana dependent and very, very cooldown dependent as well. 14 seconds, that will be reduced to about 8 or 9 when she finally gets the fully stacked Essence Reaver.
About 10, yeah.
And is able to dish out a lot of the extra damage and get that steroid up more often than not in those team fights, and it's crucial for being a hyper carry.
Yeah, and it's kind of the difference in, I feel like Kai'Sa is going to be one of those champions that when they finally do kind of tune back some of her inbuilt sustain and her ability to just blanket win trades like that, that it's going to be about how this mobility is that, again, that X factor, that good Kai'Sa players will be able to maximize the type of mobility that she puts out in a team fight, and it'll be the instance where, you know, if you're in NA and you EU, you see Ezreal locked in, you cringe a little bit, but then there's certain Ezreal players, you know, like Prey, like Uzi, where you lock in, you're like, okay, that's a good pick. I think Kai'Sa will eventually reach that status as soon as some of her numbers are worked down a little bit.
Yeah, I remember Ezreal complaints about the Vitality versus Splice match last night. Carson was not too happy when either of those two teams decided to lock in Ezreal, and Mystic was one of the old school Ezreal players. He's the person that we look towards when he picked up Ezreal, be like, okay, this is going to be a good match because it is Mystic playing Ezreal, so it makes sense that he's found a home with Kai'Sa as well, and it's going to be very curious to track the champion as we move into patch 8.6 and playoffs as well, because she did get buffed slightly. We know that players are starting to pick her up. However, it wasn't Mystic that picked up MVP in that match. It did go over towards Sierra, the mid laner for Team WE.
I don't know how much farther that camera angle could get back on your monologue there, Fish. Guys, like, I got nowhere else to go, mate. I'm at the full widescreen. But man of the match does go to Cassiopeia. Like we said, I think that a byproduct of OMG's inability to execute on team fights did come from the composition that they were running into, and the core of that comp was the Cassiopeia. It is very hard to fight that one front to back because you have Ryze and Vayne. It's hard for Vayne on Miasma anyway, so it was just a struggle.
And off the back of the MVP, Team WE pick up Game 1 victory. We're going to go to a very quick break. We're back with Game number 2 in just a bit.